Hey everybody, welcome to the stream. I'm Tim, I'm your host, and today we're going to do we're just going to kind of finish out some of what we were doing on our last solution here. Now, I know it's a little confusing because there are, currently I'm doing two series on Filemaker. This one has the little arrow, you know, if you look at the thumbnail, you'll see like the little arrow, the red arrow thingy anyway going up, and the other one is very blue. So they're totally different, but they're totally the same kind of thing. So the other one is just kind of a different format, but it's going to cover the same basic stuff as we did through here. Maybe not quite as complex, probably a little bit easier going. So today, anyway, what we're going to do is we're just going to go through some of the things that we didn't get to wrap up on this particular solution. So one of the things that we did do was we did get the quantity window up, so we're good with that. We have our categories and our drinks and, you know, stuff like that. Now these you can create and modify to be whatever you want them to be. Here I'm going to select this and going to category. Just gonna, I keep telling myself I'm gonna fix this and then I never do. So today I've decided I'm gonna fix it. What the heck, right? Oop, I had it. There it goes, right there in the center. We can click it and we can use our directional keys to go up and down. So now we can have, like, if we get rid of this, because obviously we need to get rid of it. So if we click on this one, in-house drinks, blah, blah, blah. So we can do that. Okay, so now what we need to do is we need to make sure that we can get to our, now the last time we left off this particular solution, we left off, having an issue with the being able to view an invoice. So what we need to do first and foremost is we need to figure out how can we even get to the administrator page, right? If we go to the invoice, so let's just go through here. So if we go to the invoice, we can go to the admin page if we put in a code here, or we can exit and there's admin entry here too. So if we go, let's go to register one, let's go to our invoice, and let's find out, let's just edit the layout really quick, and let's double click this admin button, and we see it says admin code invoice. That's the script that we're using to actually make this happen. So what we can do is we can copy that admin code invoice, and you can write that down if you can't remember what it is. That's just fine. So let's go to the menu. Oops. Got to exit the layout first. So let's go to the menu and then we'll go to our exit. And now we need to actually select what we're going to do with this. So we need to actually do, let's manage our scripts really quick. And we have this one, it's called admin code. So and what it says, basically in a nutshell, is that you want to set these fields, and if these things are correct, then that's what it will do. And we can just recreate it, or we can copy that one and then make changes to it. But it's almost easier in my deal to just recreate its own thing. So here we have the passcode box. We know that. And it's in the entry menu. So what we can do here is we can tell it to perform a script, and we could just create a new script, and we're just going to call this entry menu admin. And one of the very first things that we want to do is we want to run obviously an if statement. So if click this little FX button, that'll bring us into the window. So we can do if is empty, or we can do if the passcode is equal to either one. And as you can see, this is this would be passcode menu or passcode menu box 1. So you wouldn't have the 2 on it. So we can just say if passcode menu box or passcode box menu is equal to, and we're just going to do 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we want it to go to a layout, and this layout that we want it to go to, we're going to move it to the right space here. This layout that we want it to go to is going to be our it's going to be admin, right? Admin portal. Now you can live with just that. You don't have to add the security stuff to it if you don't want to, but you can as well. And I think we've done that on previous videos. And so what we've done is we've said if it's not equal to that number, then, and we can put in here real quick a halt script. You know me and halt scripts, I like to put halt scripts in. So we can do another if and say if it's not, then you can send a message or whatever. So we'll just say if, and we'll click off, and we'll click the little FX button, and we'll say passcode menu box is not equal to 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we're going to show a custom dialog. And we're just going to click Show Custom Dialog, put it up underneath there. Remember, it's got to be inside the if statement, inside of the if statement. So we'll show a custom dialog, and the custom dialog will mean, we'll say, security issue warning, and then we'll say unauthorized use of this portal will result in immediate termination and or disciplinary action. Okay, so you want to put something in there that's scary, and if you want to, what you can do is you can set a variable, what passcode they tried to use, and you can take it and put that in your little security spot, because we do have a little, the security window, and that's just fine. You don't need the cancel button. I rarely ever find a need for the cancel button. So, and you don't necessarily need to commit any data, so you can unclick that if you want to. It's not a big deal. And you can change the input fields and what it does and what those labels are and how it works, and like if you're putting in a passcode, which is kind of interesting, you can say, like if you want to use this little star thingy for your passcode, you'd actually have to create a custom dialog box and then show an input field, and that's where you would actually use these for passcodes if you want them to be secret, but if you're not that worried about it, you can just do this the way that I do it, which is basically scripting. So we'll call that okay, And then we'll just put a halt script on the bottom here. We'll double click it and we'll put it here. We'll call it good. So now if we exit this layout and we go over to the admin entry, you'll actually see it'll like change colors. And if we click on it, it'll say, oh, well, you can't do that because you don't have the passcode or whatever. So if we come up here and we click in 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we go there, it'll take us straight to where we wanted to go. And just want to make sure, I'm going to move this over here really quick. You guys saw it go flying by. What that was is it was the live chat window. I need to kind of have it in the right space so I can see what the heck is going on. So here we have like the daily sales, right? And if you press it, it says, hey, access is denied. You have to have your passcode. And I think we did 1, 2, 3, 4, which we did obviously. So here what we have is we have these little windows, or these little invoice numbers that we had set up, and the invoice number that we set up was so that we could go and see the invoice, right? And we had, I think we were creating some wild, let's edit the layout. I think we were creating some wild button or something. So post invoice, that's what we were doing. We were saying, hey, let's go to the invoice. Well, let's change this a little bit because we kind of messed up a lot, because what we were doing is we were going to the invoice and we were changing it on that particular deal, and that's not what we want to do. Now, there's two different ways of fixing this, there's two different ways of doing this. And let me show you how to do that really super quick, because what we want to do is we want to see what these invoices are, right? That's what this whole thing is about, so we can see what the invoices are. So what we're going to do is we are going to, we're just going to cancel this really quick. And let's go to, we want to manage our layouts. And if we go to the manage the layouts, we have all these different layouts, and so it very quickly becomes confusing, and you're going, which one is it that I need to have? No big deal. Let's just go there. So what we'll do is we will exit the layout. We'll return to the admin, return to the menu, go to our invoice, because this is what we need. And here it says the layout is called Invoice. Okay. So now if we go to edit the layout, it'll tell us it's Invoice under the table Register. So now if we go to manage our layouts, we will see that we are on Invoice Register. So we're actually on the right one. That really makes it nice, because you don't have to mess with it at all, man. It's just like, oh look, here it is. Now this is the cool part. If we take this invoice and we duplicate it, and now we have a copy, and we're going to edit the copy, and we're going to call this what do we want to do? We want to see the invoice. So I've tried. My mind is just going. So we want to be able to see the invoice. So let's just do inventory inquiry 1. And if I misspelled that, I don't really care. And so now we have invoice inquiry 1. And so let's close this down, because we don't care. and we're going to exit the layout, and I think we're going to put in our 1, 2, 3, 4, and we should go straight to here. And now we have the daily sales. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4 into our daily sales. Now we want to edit the layout. We want to double click on our invoice number, and here we have post invoice. So the cool thing is what we want to be able to, the reason why we recreated another one, why we duplicated it, was that way we don't mess up the, if we're doing a find or a search or we're looking for, we don't have to worry about messing it up, the original, because they're both, because we duplicated it, they're both going to be identical forever and ever and ever, amen. So if this one adds a record, this one will add a record. This one adds another record, this one will add another record. This one deletes a record, this one will delete a record. So whatever you do to one, it does to the other, but not, it's, you can look at records in this one and not, this one won't change to look at those same records, which is kind of nice. Does that make sense? So what we're going to do is we're now doing what's called post invoice, and we're going to click on this, and we're just going to press delete, 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 delete. We're just going to delete it all because I was so far off on what I was doing. I mean, I had the right vein. I knew what I wanted to do, and for some odd reason, it was just messing with me on that particular day. So today, let's just start fresh. So the very first thing that we're going to want to do is, oh, you know what we didn't do? You know what we didn't do? You know what we didn't do? Let's, do we have, okay, so this is going to be for a single register, which is kind of a bummer. Because what I wanted to do was I wanted to add, oh, it does have register. There is a register number here. Okay. So we can add the register number into that. That was my point there as I was going. Are we going to be able to add this? Because if you have two registers, you want, and you have two different invoicing solutions, you want to be able to go to one or the other. You want to be able to search the right one. So we should be okay. So let's do, I think we've selected the register. Ooh, I'm a little bit lost. Let's just cancel this. Let's just cancel this really quick. Let's exit the layout. So register is 100. That's one thing that I really needed. So you have register, there's always going to be something in the register part of this, and that's kind of what we wanted. So you have register 100 and then register 200 and register 300 there, and it's just 3. And so if you have two registers running on the same thing, you can have register 100 or 101, you know, whatever the case is. So that's the reason why, and I like 3 digits for register numbers. So they're all 100. So that's great. So let's do, and these dismissed ones, they should also have a number, and I'm sure that we programmed that into there. But let's just work on what we're trying to do right now. So we're going to click on the invoice number. We're going to click on the post invoice, and let's just start writing this script. So if I always like to start with an if statement, especially with something like this, because we want to know what the register number is, or if whatever. So if, we'll start with if, and in the if statement we'll say if the register ID is equal to 100, then now it's the first register, so it's register 1, and then we'll build this, and then all you have to do is duplicate it for your second register or your third register, or for all in the same script. They're all going to be under if statements. So if daily sales register ID is 100, then what do we want it to do? Well, we wanted to set a variable. We'll just put this variable up there, and the variable that we're going to set is obviously the invoice number. And so I'm just going to type in invoice. Let's just type in yeah, just invoice. And this is going to be the invoice number under the daily sales. And we're just taking this information and we're just moving it from point A to point B. And now what we want to do is we want to, this is interesting. You guys will love it. Don't worry about it. Just type in the word new and you're going to get new file, new record, new window. Let's type in new window. And we're going to move it up here. And then it says the style. So we can, if we click on the little settings thing, we can set a window name, and we can do invoice preview window, and we can set the height at about 900 and the width at about 900, and that's probably okay. So we've called it the invoice preview window, and we've set a height and a width for it because we don't want it to be too big, but we don't want it to be too small. And the cool thing is you can change that. You just saw me do it. You can change it. You can make it whatever you want to. And 900 is actually very big, because you saw like some of the other videos, like this whole thing is 1275 wide by 800. So 900 by 900 is pretty huge. So we've now set that, and now what we want to do is we want to type in go to, and we're going to, all of this is going to be under that, under the, or inside of the if statement, right? So the layout that we want to go to is the new one that we just made. You guys remember the name of that new one that we just made? Should be, and watch, I'm probably going right over the top of it. Inventory. Daily sales, pending invoices, and those are all unused. Should have been an invoice or register invoice inquiry 1. There it is. I seem to just be like, what did I do with that? So now we need to go to invoice inquiry 1 because that's, we've duplicated it. So we're doing this behind the scenes. So while this guy's using his register, this guy's working behind the scenes and he's looking at different records inside of that register, and this guy is not going to have any issues with his register or his invoice when he's looking at it. So he can look at it and make all the changes he wants to, because this page is now being occupied by someone else. So you've got two different things that you can do, and you don't have to do it. You don't have to duplicate it for this particular program. You can just go to the window and they can still use it, but I'm trying to make it as safe as possible for both users, and this actually works beautifully. It's a wonderful, wonderful way, and it doesn't add anything to the overall, you know, the size of your program, which is kind of a big deal, especially if you're hosting it or having it hosted. You don't want to spend, you know, you don't want to have like a 2 trillion megabyte deal, because it'll take forever for you to even use your register. So this keeps it very small and keeps it very accurate. So that'll actually work just beautifully. So now what we need to do is let's go into CK. How's it going? CK is in the chat, by the way. So what we're going to do now is let's go into, we need to enter find mode. And it's kind of a bummer that you have to, I don't know why you can't just add all this stuff in there. And of course we don't want to pause. So let's just take the pause off. And then from the find mode, we're going to set the field, and if we type in set field, And the field that we're going to set is going to be in our, it's going to be in our invoice or register. Invoice register, invoice ID. I'm pretty positive that that's what it is. And the calculated result is going to be $ invoice. Call it good. And I was gonna delete that. That was kind of, hey, CK, it's good to have you here. Thank you very much for being here. I was gonna make sure, because remember we had that issue with the invoice ID, whether it was on the one page or the other page, or whether it was the register one or not the register one. And there's a quick way of actually doing that. What we can do is we can just click OK, and then we can go over here, and we can actually go to that layout that we were just looking at. Unused menu, invoice inquiry. So we can go there. It says invoice ID, and so if we double click it, you'll get this the inspector panel, and the inspector panel will tell you it's invoice double bar invoice ID, or register, excuse me, double voice invoice. All right, so let's call that good. Register. So it's under the register. Now we can go back to our sales report. Double click this. And so it's register invoice. So it's correct. And that was the big thing. We just wanted to make absolutely positive that it was correct. So now that we've set the field, we need to perform the find, right? And it should be perform find. All right, we'll put that underneath there. Now it'll automatically just do that, and we can just type in halt script. And so now if we go to that, now you can't just leave this like this, because if the register ID is not equal to 100, it's just going to keep running this script in the background, go over and over and over and over and over again, because there's nothing to say stop it. So you can come out here and you can type in halt script again. And just leave it at the bottom, and that'll stop. So it'll stop it. But we wanted to stop it inside, because we don't want it to as when you add more to it. So if we copied all of these things and we just recreated them in a new if statement underneath there, then what would happen is if you don't have the halt script inside of it, it would just keep running through all of them until it got to a halt script, or till it actually stopped. So we will call that good for right now. And so now let's see what happens if we exit this layout and we click on 2003, although that's really weird that we don't have a button that, like, it doesn't change. So we'll have to change that so we kind of know what's going on. And now here's our little window. So it tells us, and the cool thing is you can actually make this window bigger if you wanted to. So you can change it. And as you see, so this one, we could probably change the size of it, right? We'd probably make it like 600 by 1200. Let's try that. Let's see how that works, because that would be kind of cool if we just make it the way that we wanted to. And if you close it, you're done. Ta-da! How hard is that, right? So let's edit the layout again, and we'll go into invoice number, and we'll click on this, and we're going to go into our window style. We're going to go into our little blue thingy. So the height, let's make the height like 600, or let's do 700, and the width at 1200. Okay. Click on OK. Now if we go to options, this is where you can pause current script, halt script, blah, 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 remain. Change cursor to hand over button. So now when you go over there, and you can actually make it to where when you do it, it lights up or it changes color or does something. So now you can see it, the hand, it changes to a hand. If we go to this one and we click on it, here's our window. Look how pretty that is. Now you automatically, you have all this stuff and you haven't changed a thing. So, and to make the point, let's just do this. Let's go to the admin, the menu, the invoice. Now the invoice number that we are on is 2028, or 2 bazillion 28, right? So let's go back into our admin panel. 1, 2, 3, 4, and we'll go into our daily sales. And you know, I can show you how to do some like personal stuff too, where admin doesn't have to do all that stuff, but let's just live with it the way that it is. And we can go to this one, and you can see it's got the little scroll bar. There's, you know, 2018, or I'm just doing the 2018. I'll close it, do 2019, close it, 2909, close it. And now we can go back to the admin, go back to the menu, go back to the invoice, and we're still at 2028. Ta-da! How beautiful is that, huh? That was kind of a big thing. That was kind of a big thing. Okay, so the next thing that we want to do is I want to edit the layout, because now we're in this, and Thomas had asked me specifically, I want to do the split pay button today. That was kind of a big thing. But Thomas had asked me about doing the cash sale button. And he's like, hey Tim, can I see your cash sale script? Well, this is the script. This is the script, lock, stock, and barrel. Move my little thingy over there so it's out of the way. Freeze window, set variables. So we're gonna, the very first thing that it's going to do is it's going to set a bunch of variables, that the cash, the tax, the register, the invoice ID. We're going to go to the sales report, and he was talking about securing like the inventory. So when you do a cash sale, how does that protect your inventory from, you know, blah blah blah? And it does in this sense. Now, because your invoice isn't going to, once you've done your when you do your master script, it automatically takes the product out of your and you've seen that, because we actually did that. We ran through, if you guys remember correctly, we ran through the master script with our debugger, and what that did was it showed us, it literally took it out of the inventory, and then it put it onto the invoice, right? So all you've got to do now is just make sure that you're not taking it from the invoice and putting it back. Now you can do that if, let's say, you wanted to return an item to your invoice, or to your let's just close this because I don't need to have it up. So if we exit the layout, go to the menu, we're going to go to candies, we're going to buy a couple of sodas, we'll go back to the invoice. Now, and here it is, it just came up like, bam, it's so nice. If we do, if we take off this one, it says product has been returned to base inventory. So maybe that's what he was talking about, is taking one off, but we've shown you how to actually do that in the script. And hey Valterian, how's it going? What is our Discord? You know, I will have Josh answer that question when I will have Josh send you a message. I think he's over there. Yep. He is. Josh is over there. He'll send you a message so you know how to get our Discord. Because I noticed, Valtharian, that you'd asked me that this morning, and so I sent you a message out telling you, yeah, we do have it. Josh pretty much does it. I don't really need it. So, but anyway, so in this particular case, what we need to do is let's go to edit the layout, and if we double click this button, it's going to tell us the script, and the script is return to stock. And maybe that's what he meant when we were talking about returning things to stock. So here we have if it is empty, blah blah blah. Set the you set your product ID number, and then you're going to go to the inventory field. You're going to enter find mode. You're going to perform the find. You're going to set the field location 1 because this is location 1. Sale amount, inventory plus. So here you're adding that product back into. So if it was 10 of them, it's going to add 10 of them back to your inventory, right? And so just to clarify that, let's do let's edit the layout or exit the layout. Let's go into the admin section. Let's cache sale this out though, get it out of the way. So if we go 1, 2, 3, 4 and go back into our admin section, we have our inventory, which I think you had to put the number in for the inventory. I think you had to put the number in for everything, right? Cat Bros, yes. Just wondering, because I feel like Discord is better for talking than talking in PlayStation Party. You're absolutely right, Baltharian. It actually is. So here, sort records. That'll show us all the records. So here, bubblegum, we have 10 of them. As you can see, we have 10 bubblegums. I want to make that 100, so I'm just going to add 100 to it. So bubblegum, well, we didn't even do the bubblegum, did we? So the Jawbreakers, the pops, the soda pops. Let's do the soda pops at 100. So it's a nice even number so you guys know what it is, right? So we're going to go to our main menu. Oop, it's not going to let us do it because we didn't set that button, did we? We'll go single step. Go to, just go to our layout. And the layout that we're going to do is, I believe, entry menu. Category page. Let's just go to category page. Okay. Now we'll go to our category page. We'll go to the candies. And I'm going to select 10 sodas. And I'm going to do another one of 10 sodas. And I'm going to go to the invoice. So now I have 10. Why in the heck did it do that? Popstar. Oh, because it was the last. It was the last invoice. That was my fault. That was my fault. Because what these are, what we're seeing, and I'm glad it happened. I'm glad that it happened. Don't get me wrong. I'm very glad it happened. What happened is we programmed our menu button. So if we were to press the menu button, it automatically saves the invoice number. Because notice we're on 28. We're on 28. So it automatically generate when you press cast sale, it generates a new invoice. Well, we didn't press menu, so it didn't save that invoice, and that old invoice number was still on our thing. So we have to understand soda poppin'. Yeah, I heard a notification on phone. That is Josh. He's like sitting in the office right across from me. So, and you can hear everything he does, believe it or not. So what actually happened is we just went back to the exact same invoice, even though we have a new invoice out there that's now worthless because we can't use it because the minute we press cash sale. Okay. So anyway, remember we changed it to 100 So maybe what we should do is we should make sure in later ones that we make sure that that number is, that we run the menu button first. We run that menu script first. That's what we should do. We should be like, run menu script, then do this. Because that would save it, right? That would do it. So, and we can do that. It's pretty simple. You just tell it to run a script. What happened to CK? I do not know what happened to CK. Last time I heard he was on holiday. We're just talking to people in the chat, by the way, for those people that are watching us. So now if we return 10 of these, product has been returned to base inventory. We should now have 90 of them in our deal, right? So we're going to cache sale that, verify it, menu, so we save the dang thing, exit. Oh, at the entry, look at that. Yeah, you guys see that? We need to go into here, entry menu admin. What did we forget? We forgot to, right after this, we need to set field. And that field is going to be the cat passcode box field, and the calculated result is going to be the parentheses or the quotation marks, and we're going to put it right underneath the that thing. And then what we need to do is we need to, you can actually, I think you can, let's see. Oop. Okay, so we'll set another field, and we're going to do the exact same thing. Passcode menu box. We're going to specify that we set it to parentheses, and the reason why we're doing this is so that we can clear that box at all times. You made a new video last night. That's pretty cool. Unauthorized use of the portal. Okay. So now it will do it. So now if we exit the layout on Destiny 2. Josh, are you reading what Valtharian is saying? Because I'm kind of not, but he would be on my chat because we're under Timothy Hayde. Did you send him a message, Josh?
No.
No. Wait. Well, you can.
I wasn't going to.
Well, he wants to know the Discord stuff. Okay, so now if we go into admin entry, it will actually erase it. And do the 1, 2, 3, 4 inventory, show all records, and here in our drinks we are at 90. Is Josh right here? Yes, he's just right across the little thing. So the other side. So now that we've done that, let's go back to our main menu and our invoice, and now it should be clear. And one of the big things that we need to make sure of is that if anyone leaves this field for any reason, that we are we're saving that number. So if we go into edit layout and we click our menu button, it'll say go to menu. That's what our script is. And so it says register pending ID, blah 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 blah, and if set variable, go to layout, category page menu, set field, number lock invoice, halt script. Now we can tell it to run this script. You can say run that script. See, there he did. So there you go. Valtharian. We can tell it to actually run this script. Go to menu. So if we say like this button, it says admin code invoice. So we can actually say run. Let's see, script. Alt script, open script, perform script. That's what it is. we can say perform script, and it would be go to menu. But it has a halt script at the end of it, doesn't it? So I wonder if it would work, if it would just take me there, or if it would actually run the whole distance and come back. Well, there's one way to find out. You can add it and see what happens. Actually, I think that you would have to do... I'm just thinking, I'm just being quiet. I think if you grab this perform script and you told it to do so after the fact, it could be like freeze window, perform script. Well, I think I'm just going to delete that, but you have to make sure in your script writing that you save that invoice number, and that invoice number gets to the appropriate place. That's kind of the big deal. And so you can do a lot of different things. You can either get rid of the admin and the dismiss and the held or whatever. You can get rid of any button that would take you anywhere else except for the menu, or you can just add that into your script. And so the script would be that you would have to take this invoice ID number and you'd have to transport it to your I'm just trying to think, because if you freeze the window, then it stays there. So let's just do this. I'm going to double click it, go into this, I'm going to type in freeze window. I'm going to put that above our if, and then we want it to set a variable, and that variable is going to be invoice ID. And it is going to be under the register, the invoice ID. Okay. We're just going to fix it because we're here right now. And the very next thing we're going to do is we're going to script us our split pay button. And so we will obviously be getting to that too. All right, Valterian. So now that we've set the variable, we need to go, it needs to go to a layout. And that layout needs to be, now it can be any of the, it can be the entry, or it can be the category page, which is just fine. And in this particular case, we're all doing everything for the first register and not the second register. So we'll just say go to category page, and then we need to set a field. And that field needs to be menu. Should be the num lock. And this will be invoice ID. I think I typed that correctly. Okay. So we went to the layout, we set the field. Oop. We set the field. This one we need to bring it back down here. Okay, so we froze the window, we set a variable for register ID, and then we went to the category page, and then we set the num lock with the new number. And now what we can do is we can tell it to come back to the original layout. So we can say go to layout, and it can be original layout. And then you can do the if statement for your register, set field, go to layout, admin portal, halt script. So let's see how that works. So exit the layout. And we're currently at 30. So the invoice is 30. So we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4. Go into admin. It took us right there. Now let's go to menu. And look at there, we are at 30. So it went ahead and ran it to our invoice. So now if we go back to our invoice, we're clear. Now the split pay button is a button that we didn't really have a lot of energy to work on the other day. So what we need to do is we need to, I want to get rid of, I really want to fix my buttons. I just don't even like the buttons at all, or the look of them anyway. So I'm going to delete that. Click on it. I'm just going to go into my inspector. I'm just going to make it what I want it to be, and then we'll just deal with the rest of it after the fact. So the appearance, I don't want it to be a solid color. I actually want it to be no color. And it can have, I guess it can have a line. But I want that line to be 3 wide or 3 thick. And I want it to be kind of a yellowish color or purplish color. We'll have a kind of a purplish color because we want it to match the button, right? And now we want to increase the size of it. We're going to want to actually increase the size of it quite a bit. And we're going to take, now what we need to do is we need to have an amount of things up here. So we need, yeah, this button needs to be like, or this thing needs to be like a lot bigger. I don't know why it was just jumping around. Okay. So these we're going to move all the way down here at the bottom. And the reason why we made it so big like this is because we need to add a couple of fields in there. So we have the total sale of how much it was, right? So we know that, let's say you've $5 or whatever, and they want to split it 250, 250. Well, we need some fields in here. We need something that's going to tell us what that difference is, right? And that's pretty simple. We would just create a couple of you can just create a couple of fields, and the one field can say paid cash taken. So we're just going to go over here and we're just going to say cash amount, and we'll click off. And of course I want that to be a beautiful red color because I'm just a beautiful red color guy. We're going to do 18. And then we need another one. Charge amount, which you can have, you can say amount to pay on credit card or whatever, or credit card, blah, 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 charge amount. So just whatever the split part of is, and you have to click off of it. And obviously we want that to be 18 as well. And we want that to be also red in color because I'm kind of a freak that way. Oop. There we go. Now these actually work better. If you find that you're not getting them right dead in the center, if you just click on this and you center it like that, and then you use your little directional keys, you'll find that finding the center is a little easier sometimes. Just FYI, because there's been times I've actually had an issue with that, where I'm just like, what in the heck? So what you can do is you can have the tendered one here, and then the charged one would be something different. So if you go to if you grab your field picker, you can actually go into what is it I'm looking for? Current table register, override pending, invoice ID, invoice. Amount tendered is what I'm looking for. So if you could grab this one, I mean, obviously we don't need that darn label, and we can have it at 18 or 24, whatever you feel more comfortable with. I like 24 myself, especially in these particular scenarios, because it just works. But 18 is completely fine. You don't have to have a bigger number than, or a bigger one. I think maybe I will just go with 18. I'm just gonna put it right here in the center. And so this would be the cash amount that someone actually paid or gave to you, cash amount. So you can have this as a no fill, a gradient, whatever fill that you want, particularly on this, because it's really not a button. So you can have like no color, solid color. I think I'm just going to have no color in the background. And I do want it to be centered because I'm kind of a freak. And I do want it to be in the data field. I want it to be money. So it can't be general. It has to be a currency. And we want it to be at a fixed number of decimals. And just regular system settings. It's kind of important that you do that because Tech, how are you, Tech? I'm kind of reading the chat, but I've had a lot of people from a different channel come in and talk to me because I do a lot of things for Luculent, and so some of them are video games. But I do see you there, and thank you very much for coming in. So from this point, we're just going to kind of leave that in the center. And if we go to, let's close these windows out, and if we exit the layout and we hit the split pay, now you can see it says cash amount and charge amount. Well, we need a window down here that will tell us how much is left for them to charge. And then when we verify, all we have to do is split those two windows up so that the cash amount, which is the amount we tendered, and our new window, which is going to be the amount that's left over for credit, that one will go in. So what we're going to do now is we're going to edit the layout, manage our database, and we're going to go into our invoice. And now what we want to do is I want to add it's going to be kind of a change due thing, because in essence that's exactly what it is it's a change due. Because you're just taking that very same thing, and if you put in like, because in the change due thing, if you put in $10 or whatever, and they owed you $20, it'll show 10 bucks due, but it'll be like a negative number. Does that make sense? So it'd be like a negative number, and that's pretty simple to fix actually, because you could just be like go plus plus plus. Okay, so this one is, we're gonna just call this one charge amount. And it is going to be a calculation. And the calculation is going to be the amount tendered minus the total due. So the amount tendered minus the total due. Okay. Now I know that we're gonna have an issue with this, but I want you guys, I teach in an interesting style. My style is I purposefully will put things up that I know are not going to be perfect so that you guys can see what happens when they do. It's just easier to be like, what if? Well, I know because I watched Tim do it. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go back into our split pay. We're going to double click that turkey. And we need to get our field picker out. And we need to go to our related invoice page. And we're going to grab a charged amount. Bring it down here. I think we did 18, right? 18. We want it to be the same size as that one. There we go. And I'm going to use my directional keys to kind of drop it down just a little bit. We'll close that, go into our field inspector. And we obviously want to change the appearance so that it's very close to the same as the other one. We can leave the line, the buffering, but we do want to make absolutely positive that our data is currency. It's a very big deal. Make sure that it is currency with a fixed number of decimals in the system settings. Okay. Oh, and we want it to be in the center. And so now, let's exit the layout. Let's go to our menu, candies, buy a drink and a soft thing, go to our thing. We've got $3.89. We want to split pay. And so we want to, of course we only spent $3, so we want to put, look at that, it's not going to let me touch them. So what did we do wrong? What did we do wrong? One thing that we did wrong was we didn't add, we didn't tell the system that we want those to be available for browse mode. So in the inspector, click on this, available in browse mode. And the charge amount, we do not want available in browse mode. We just want the amount tendered available in browse mode. Edit the layout. So if we go to split pay, we see we still can't mess with this one, but we can add something to this one. So if they pay $2 and you just click $2, it now says that the charge amount is negative $1.89, right? But we don't want it to be a negative amount. We want it to be a positive amount. So how do we make that into a positive amount with the current settings that we have, right? So if we edit the layout, we go into manage our database, and we go back into our invoice and our charge amount. So it's the amount tendered minus the total due, or the total due minus the amount tendered. Okay, exit the layout, split pay, and now it shows $1.89 positive. See how we just did that? We just added a very quick and simple easy fix, and now it shows $1.89 to be charged amount. So now you can create a script. So if you do your verify button, you can now, that verify button, which I totally don't even like the color of that verify button. I so want to change that. The appearance, and I want that to be, I think I want that to be a solid color, but I don't want it to be that color. I want it to be a nice purple color. That looks good to me. I think I'm just going to live with that. Okay. So as you can tell, we now did the amount tendered and the amount to be charged. And once they verify, what we wanted to do is we wanted to take those two amounts and split them so that now your amount tendered. So let's go. What happens if we do? We are already here. So we click here, and we wanted to perform a script, right? But we don't actually have our dang script up yet. So let's manage scripts. And if we come in here, we will see cash sale. Okay, and the cash sale pretty much tells us that what it does is it sets all of these variables, the cash, the value, invoice, total due. That's the big thing. And then it sets another variable, the tax, the register, the invoice number, and then it goes to layout. Well, this is pretty much the closest thing that you could possibly imagine to what we're trying to accomplish. Why is that window open? I do not have a clue. So what we want to do with this is we want to duplicate the cash sale. So if you click the cash sale and then you right click it, you can duplicate it. And then we're going to rename this to split pay. And I don't know why. Split pay sale. Okay. Ta-da. Now what we need to do with the split pay sale is we set the variable cash and the value is the total due. But now we need to set an additional variable. That's all we have to do is just set an additional variable. So let's click here. Let's set another variable. And this variable, we're going to name it credit. And the value is going to be under our, we put it in invoice, did we not? So in invoice, it was our charge amount. So now we have the variable for cash, and now we have a variable for our credit, because that amount is now stuck into our credit system. So we're going to create a new record request. We're going to set fields, and here we say set the set field daily sales cash. Set field total sale cash. Well, we need to come up here and we need to set a field. We'll specify that field, and it's under daily sales. And it's going to be credit card. And the specified amount is going to be, remember what we put up here, which is S or $ credit. So $ credit. And if we just click off, like into this white space, Control S, and we're good to go. And so, see how easy that was? We just created a split pay. So let's exit the layout. And now here we have this amount. And so we go into split pay. We've already added this information here. We said we paid $2, whatever. You know, the cash amount was $2. And so we need to charge $1.89. Once it's been paid, we will select the verify button, but we didn't associate that yet, did we? Nope, we did not. So this button, we need to perform a script. And we did right here, split pay sale. And you guys can move this, and your options, you can change the hand cursor over button, whatever. Okay, exit layout. I'm pretty sure we did, if you do split pay, oh, we didn't even do the cancel button. Wow, we are really just off of it, aren't we? Alright, so we'll just do verify and see how it just automatically created a new record, and now we're on 31. And I want to hurry up and fix this split pay button. Ooh. Cancel. Single step. Close. If you just type close, it'll be close popover. Now it will work every time that we do that, right? So let's exit the layout. Let's go to our main menu. Or better yet, let's go to our admin. Remember, 31. Oh, we can't go to our admin. 1, 2, 3, 4. Go to our admin. 1, 2, 3, 4. Go to our daily sales. And our daily sales for today, which notice the records are going in the wrong direction. They're like it's the bottom ones or the very first. So we need to put like a sort records button in there, right? And we can do that. We can be like, sort records. Well, we want to sort them by the date. Oop. Date. Date. Descending order. Sort. Now the top one is the top, and it will always be that way. Now you can make a button and have it do that, and that's just fine. Okay, and you can also stop these things from like highlighting if you really wanted to. So here we have, and remember what number it was? It was 30, right? So here it says our cash sale was $3.89. Our credit was $1.89, and the total was $3.89. So what did we mess up? Well, what we messed up was that we set our cash value at the total amount, and we didn't set it at the amount tendered, which is what we needed to do. So easy enough. Let's go back, manage scripts, because it's still going to be there. The same script is going to be there, and we will set the variable cash invoice total due, and it should be amount tendered. Specify should be I'm sorry, I just drew a blank there. Invoice total due. Total due. Control S. So now it sets the variable as the cash out as the total due, which happens to be in the invoice. That's the line that we use to say this is how much cash the person paid or the person gave. And I find that a lot of people don't, they say I have $10 in cash, here's the $10. They don't say I have $3.25 in cash, and how much do I have to charge for the credit card. They usually give you the cash first and then say whatever's left, put it on my card. So that's what we built this and designed this around doing. So invoice total due. That's the only major change is total due. And so now if we go back, we should be able to make this. We saved it. Yes, we saved it. So now if we go back, we can exit the layout, go to the admin, go to the menu. Remember we're at 31, did it already. And we go to Jawbreaker and 2 soda pops. And go to our invoice, $6.35. I want to split pay it. And we want to do, and you can just leave that at $6.35. It doesn't matter, you know, whatever. But we're going to do, they're going to do $5 in cash. And so they charged $1.35. And so now what we can do is we could say, okay, we verify it. Go to our admin. We know that's working perfectly now, which is 32. Daily sales. Here's our 31. Cash, $6.35. Was that correct? Let's go. So the total sale was $6.35, tendered $5. What did we do wrong? Because that shouldn't have. That should have worked out perfectly. Scripts. Split pay. Set variable cash total due. Set field. Due sales cash, sale cash. Well, we set the variable up here was the total due. And that's pretty. Oh, yeah. All right, let's figure it out. Let's go back to our menu. Back to our invoice. Menu 32. Candies. Oh, total due. Tendered. What was I thinking? Amount tendered. That's what that is. It's the amount tendered button. Manage scripts. Specify invoice amount tendered. My goodness. Control S to save it. Exit the layout. You guys probably noticed it. You guys are probably laughing at me going, wow, look what Tim just did. Tim, I can't believe Tim just did that. Now you can hide the charged amount if you want to. You can say, if this amount is equal to this amount, then be white. And what that is it's just I can show you how to do it. As a matter of fact, let's just do it. Script conditional formatting. So you can say if the value is between, if the value is equal to, why is this, if the value is equal to the total sale, dang it, I have to have the exact semicolon, more formatting. I'm missing it somewhere because you should be able to, if the value is equal to, or was it formula? Formula is delete, specify, there it is, formula. So if it is, and what we want is we want the invoice. So if the total due is equal to, I'm back, Valtharian. Okay, so if the the invoice total due is equal to that box, which is the charge amount, is equal to the charge amount, then what we want is we want the text color to be none. Okay. So now if we go into split pay, there's nothing there. So it's equal to. And now if we type in $5, you don't have to type in 5 point. You can just type in 5 and then click. And now it's different, so now it appears. And that's the coolest little trick you guys have ever seen. All you guys do is just say no color on the text if this is what happens. So there you go. So now we did $5 and $2.77. We'll verify it. We'll go to 33. Now we'll go back to our admin, make sure that we fixed it. Daily sales. And here's our 32. Now we have $5.27. And the total, which is the total sale, which is something that we kind of messed up on. We should have taken, I don't know why it went to the $5, but we can fix that pretty quick. Edit layout, manage the scripts. Because what it's saying is total sale. Total sales should not be cash. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to set a variable. And that variable is going to be, we're going to do total. And we'll specify what that total is, and it's going to be on our invoice. And it's going to be total due. And then that total, so when we come down here to this total, this number is actually going to be $sign total. And now it should work. Control S, exit, exit, admin, menu. I don't know why I just did that. You can always just add 2 just like that, right? So now we're up to $14 in sales, and we want to do a split pay, and we want that split pay to be, he's going to pay $10 in cash. So the charge amount is $4.12, but the total sale is $14.12, and we'll verify that. Now we'll go to our admin. I should just build a shortcut for this just so we could just go back and forth instead of having to do this all the time, but that's no big deal. So 2033, we now have $10 in cash sales. The credit was $4.12, and the total sale was $14.12. The amount of tax collected was 67 cents on register 1. Ta-da! We did it! We did it! We finished it! So, as you guys just saw, we will go back to the admin, we will go back to our menu, and we will go back to our invoice, and now we are completely set up with our credit, our cash, our credit, and our split pay. You can change your windows to look however you want them to do. I personally, on this register, all my windows will look like this with a button, because I'm kind of big into doing that, you know, making them special and unique and nice and amazing. So if there's anything else that you guys want to see or want to know about with this, because I think we're pretty much done. We've showed you guys how to do the security. We've showed you how to access your admin portal, how to build an admin portal, how to build your invoicing section, how to build your menus. Pretty much the only thing that we didn't actually show you how to do was to actually add inventory. So for 1, 2, 3, 4, for an individual person, adding inventory would mean we would have to set up an inventory portal that was very narrow, which would just allow them to put in, they would press like a new item and they would put it in, and it would, you know, or a system like this where you could actually click on it and create your own. So this one, if you said new record, it would give you a brand new record. And you could say, I don't know, fruit cup. And this one is going to be in food, category food. And you have 42 of them. And your other store has 43 of them. And your price is $1.95. Your sale price is gonna just sell them for $3. And so now you've just added a new record, and you've added a new field, and you can just continue adding records like that and just building like huge list of records for as much as you possibly want. Or, and I think we actually have an inventory page, do we not? So if we edit layout, manage layouts, I think there is, well, there's this inventory, there's this inventory. Open it. Yeah, there's this inventory, which this inventory would probably be a good one for just having people go into it. This is the inventory input. So we did kind of build an inventory input. And the inventory input is, you know what, let's work on the inventory input next time. And we will add that to the back office so that you can go in and you can put in inventory that is segregate. The biggest thing that we'll work on next time for next week's show is that we need to be able to add to existing inventory as well. So with just basically having a product in our hand, we know what the product is, but we don't know the number and we don't know anything else about it. So I will show you how to do that, how to add inventory effectively, painlessly, and seamlessly. Actually, it's quite brilliant, the plan that I have to show you how to add inventory to your system. But we will do that next week. This week, I think we'll just call it good here because we did what we said we were going to do, and that was basically do the split pay. And what else we were going to do? Invoice details. So yeah, we did the invoice details. So now we can, which is amazing. You guys are amazing. Oh, look at that. I opened all these windows. Let's close that window. Let's close that window. Entry menu. Okay. So I've showed you guys how to go into your admin portal, which is kind of a big deal. And one of the big things that we wanted to do was we wanted to show you guys how to do that. To just bring up a window, a floating window, so you could see what the sale was. You could say, oh, look how many jawbreakers Tim just sold. Wow, Tim's selling the heck out of jawbreakers today. And that way you're not messing with the invoice that's in use, okay? So if you guys have any questions, let me know. I read all of the comments that you guys write. I will see you guys next week. Thanks a lot. Make absolutely positive you guys are here for my adding inventory. You guys are going to want to see it. It's brilliant. It's brilliant. You guys will want to see it. See you guys next week. Thanks for joining me. You guys are amazing. Totally amazing. See you later. Oh, I'm back. Woohoo!